Mississippi app. Of course, you can always find us too on your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station, and you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see the studio has blossomed with lots of guests today. We've got with us Jeff Wilson from the Mississippi Extension Office, as well as Dr. DelPrince. We've got Master Gardener John Malanchak joining us back today. And today we're talking about Floral Design Program, which I know is Dr. DelPrince's baby. But John, you're the reason that everyone is here. So welcome, everybody. Welcome back, John, and welcome back, Jeff. Okay, John, you were very enthusiastic when you texted me about getting Dr. DelPrince in here to share what he is doing through the Extension Service. So set it up. How did you get in with what Dr. DelPrince is doing?
A Madison County Master Gardener who would bring cut flowers from Sacred Heart Church in Canton, and she would bring them to the St. Catherine's Memory Care. Of course, they've been on the altar then for like 7 to 10 days. And when we got them, they were barely alive type of thing. And she asked me if I would help to do some floral designs that we could leave there at the Memory Care unit. And I said, okay. So I did one, then I did another one, then did a third one. And I got hooked on it a little bit. And I noticed that Dr. DelPrince on Facebook that was offering this program. And I took this program, and it was about 50 hours, phase 1, 50 hours of videos, instructional videos. Phase 2, 4 days, I was telling Dr. DelPrince, of intense, hands-on, where you do the designs themselves, and then phase 3 is 40 hours of volunteer services, which I already have now. But and I told the lady that Master Gardener, I said, all those presentations we made for St. Catherine's Village were wrong.
I'm so sorry. Let me go back and do them again.
Yeah, really. Yeah. But that's how I got involved in it, and I wanted to feel very strongly, like I do for the Master Gardener program with Dr. Wilson's Master Gardeners. I feel very strongly about Dr. DelPrince, and just wanted to get on the air to let Dr. DelPrince talk about his program.
Well, and I think, Dr. DelPrince, there's a lot of folks out there who we've already sort of keep having the conversation of encouraging Mississippians to start growing cut flowers, and that is a huge opportunity for more Mississippians to sort of get into either a hobby or look at it in terms of flower farming. But then there's the other piece to it. Maybe you like fresh cut flowers. You don't grow them, but you like arranging them or like having them in your house. And it's an art, would you say that? And a science.
It's an art, it's a science, it's design, fitting things for a particular need and purpose. There's so much to it. On our main campus of Mississippi State, we were talking about this earlier, you have a plant and soil sciences department, and there's a major called horticulture. And within horticulture, there are different concentrations. So in some ways, they're aligned, but then they are like a completely different area of study. And it's enough, I think, to fascinate people for their entire lives, not only for their career, but folks like John who are taking what they learned and doing wonderful things with it to help people and just help them frame their lives with beautiful flowers.
So the Master Floral Designer Program, in a nutshell, Dr. DelPrince, does this help you? It's not the growing of the flowers. It is the arranging and then the longevity of a bouquet or an arrangement, correct?
Right, yeah. We kind of like to take the plant material once the parts of the plant are severed from the parent plant.
So bad. Severed.
Yeah, severed, a sciencey, nice science name word. And then we take it and then we're going to array it. And what we talk about there is taking the chaos of nature and arraying it into geometric form to create things for all different kinds of occasions. So Master Floral Designer is a consumer level certification. In addition to that, we found after we developed Master Floral Designer that there were folks who are interested in the profiting side of it, business side of it. And so from that, we developed the Professional Florist program. So those are two separate programs that really take up a lot of my time, a lot of my energy in my work as an extension specialist.
So, Jeff, when we think of extension, I know I could go straight to you and go, you get your dirts checked. I knew that. You can, you're in the community doing all the great things, and then you help me grow things. I had no idea that I know you help me cook things that I grow, like that's part of the education, but I didn't know that this was also a piece to it. Why is it a perfect fit for the extension?
Well, the Master Floral Design program and the Master Gardener program. They're both fantastic fits for the Extension Service. And one of the things about the Extension Service is we're the only agency in the state that we work with people from pre-birth until after they pass. So we work with people of all ages in every aspect of their life. And the Master Gardener program that I get to be involved with is just fantastic. We have Master Gardeners in like 64 of our 82 counties, and about 50 of those counties have an official Master Gardener group. And they just do amazing things to help their local community spread the good news of horticulture.
So, Dr. DelPrince, do I need to be a Master Gardener to take your Master Floral Designer program, or can I just be someone who wants to make things pretty and smell nice?
Yeah, it's more the latter. There is no prerequisite for the Master Floral Designer program. I do think, though, that Master Gardener training enhances Master Floral Designer and vice versa, because then you could see more deeply into what you're doing, but there are no prerequisites for it.
And so this, you mentioned a phase 1 and sort of a phase 2. Is that for both like the consumer and then the professional, or are those two, or the consumer phase 1 and the professional phase 2?
Well, because they're two different programs, they have different curriculum tracks because of the need for both groups. So the Master Floral Designer program, there are 3 phases. The first phase is really all about floral design theory. It's also about care and handling, and it's 100% online. It qualifies the learner to get ready to learn in phase 2. Phase 2 is an intensive session with me in Biloxi. We have a floral design studio down there, and you come down, spend 4 days, and that's where you take all that theory and put it into practice. You know, I find a lot of times when I'm explaining about the program and I look to see what's going on out there, so much about floral design education is unstructured. It's a little too free-form, and people leave, I think, a lot of those short-term learning opportunities outside of MSU Extension feeling like I learned something, but I still have a lot of questions. I still have a lot of skill that I need to build. So MSU Extension believes in structured learning programs that are peer-reviewed, and by the time it gets to the learner, we're really ready for you to learn everything that we can deliver.
John, you mentioned you were a little apprehensive about doing this class. Was it that you didn't maybe feel like you needed it, or you wouldn't learn a lot after being a Master Gardener? What was so shocking once you started into it that grabbed your attention to keep doing it and realized that it was helpful to increase your knowledge?
As I mentioned, I didn't want to do it, actually. I didn't care about flowers until I started gardening with this one lady, and I got hooked on it, and I went to Dr. DelPrince's, hands-on, and that's when I saw the beauty of it. I learned the educational part, all these videos. I ate that up because I love the science behind everything. But when I garden with those with disabilities, especially those memory care or little children and so forth, they can't handle the heat in the summer. So my gardening vegetables was over pretty quickly for them, because they didn't want to go outside. This program offers the opportunity to do gardening, quote, floral design all year round, indoors.
And bring it inside and sort of enjoy
yes.
it. I don't know anybody, Dr. DelPrince, that doesn't enjoy a beautiful arrangement. Nobody walks in and go, "Why is that here?" It's something that catches the eye. It's something that reminds us to be present and sort of in the moment. And it's also fleeting. But I guess with science and things that you can learn, you can make those bouquets last a little longer, I hope.
I'm just reveling in your words. That was beautifully put.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've just recently started adding. We have a new house and perfect spot for it. So I have enjoyed getting bouquets from our local grocery store that has fresh cut flowers locally. And so they're becoming part of my, not weekly, but like every other week kind of special occasion. So Easter, and then we hosted some church friends over, got one then, probably for Mother's Day. So, it's not something that's all the time. But now I see why folks do it all the time, because it brings me so much joy when I wake up and I see them and I come home and they're there. So I can see why people would want to sort of take part in learning more about that. If it's something you want to learn more about, we will make sure you get all the details coming up next here on Good Things Radio Station, or you can watch us on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on to SuperTalk TV. Today we're learning about the Master Floral Designer program there at the Mississippi Extension. It's a great way for you to gain some floral design expertise and experience if that's what you're interested in. Dr. DelPrince is sort of the creator of it. He's here with us along with Jeff and John, who both support it, Master Gardeners. So Dr. DelPrince, how long has this been a program? How did you get voluntold, or I guess inspired to do this program for the Extension?
When I interviewed for my job, the head of the R&E Center in Biloxi, the Research and Extension Center in Biloxi, is Tricia Knight, who is an ornamental plant specialist. I tell Tricia all the time that all she has to do is put her hand in a window and she photosynthesizes, because she's comes from generations of horticulturists and is incredible talent and knowledge. And during that interview process, she asked me if I had ever considered a program called Master Floral Designer, which I had not. And it took off from there. We rolled it out in 2017. Just before the pandemic, we put it online, at least that first portion.
What a great timing, though.
Yes, it was, I think, heavenly sent to be able to do that. And it brought more people, I think, to us than fewer.
Which I think it's a good outlet, because you mentioned that there's like the consumer side, the everyday person like me could take it, but then there's also that business side. If you are looking at like upping your game in those areas for maybe it's a little income, is there income potential with floral arrangements?
Well, it was during the pandemic that I was able to write that professional florist program, because I had some professionals that were enrolling in it, and it's helpful to them because there's a lot of great information there, but they weren't getting the business side of things and that angle of teaching learning. So during the pandemic, when we had to work at home, that's when I sat and wrote that curriculum. And that program is growing in leaps and bounds too, because in floristry, a lot of people are bench trained. They learn on the job. They'll open up businesses with maybe just a little bit of technical information, but a lot of love for design. And so what we're doing is we're helping people to work the kinks out of their business plan and their business acumen by making the mistakes in the classroom and in the studio before they do that with a client. So that professional florist program helps to answer those needs. Master Floral Designer for the love of floral design, professional florist for the love of profitability in a business.
And you would definitely take both, right? Like it would probably be good for you if you were looking for the profitability one, just to take the first one, because there's probably the science behind it. I know that's one thing that Mississippi Extension is so great about, is bringing the science into like your everyday life in sort of those ways. What are some people like? What are you missing? Like, what would you be surprised that you need to know to have like a good floral arrangement?
Well, there's a lot. Of course, the longevity of the plant materials, proper care and handling, whether you're harvesting your own materials or purchasing them at a retailer or from a wholesale to the public location, all the different ways that you can purchase flowers today, and making sure that you handle them properly and use the proper tools, the proper treatments. A lot of that is completely demystified in our program. Second, again, like I say, using the proper tools. So many people will handle their plant materials properly, but then they'll use wire cutters or snips to cut those flowers to the proper length. It's okay, but you can increase the longevity by learning the proper tools and techniques. Then you have all of the design principles to learn, which aren't just about floral design, but they're about every design decision that you could possibly make in your life. Dressing yourself in the morning, putting together the interior design, landscaping your yard, on and on and on. All those design decisions come from design principles. Then the design elements, the ingredients of design, how you mix those elements together under the laws of beauty, which are the design principles, to make informed decisions about every step about what you're doing to make just the right design for the occasion, for the time of year, all of those elements coming together to make good floral design.
I'll never look at a bouquet the same way again.
I hope you don't. Yeah.
Will you, John? Will you ever?
No, I I took pictures of all my designs and put them on Facebook, and then I started doing a PowerPoint presentation. And I'm looking at my photos and said, "Oh my gosh, I put this on Facebook. It is so wrong in this one area, or this doesn't look right. It's out of balance." And all this, Dr. DelPrince said, the balance, the design principles and the elements of design. So I'm very judgmental now to everything I look at.
When most people just look at them, and again, even a bad bouquet brings people joy, Dr. DelPrince. I think, unless it's a dying bouquet, that's the only time that, it kind of makes you sort of sad. What do you think it is about floral arrangements that just elevate people's moods?
We come from the wild. It's in our brain. It's through millions of years of evolution that we're connected to nature. We have houseplants because that's nature brought indoors. We have cats and frogs and dogs and all the things of bringing nature closer to us. Children love them. Adults love them. And so it's a way of bringing the outdoors indoors. But further than that, it's also part of that human nature to want to create. And some of the things that John and the other master floral designers are doing in terms of volunteering to get flowers into people's hands. That's the third phase,
right?
Yes, that's right, that volunteering phase. Something that we followed with master gardeners and other groups and other certifications that Extension offers to allow people to put into practice what they learn and share it with others is a valuable component.
And I know, John, you're big into that. Who will you be sharing your floral arrangements with next, or what you have learned?
As I mentioned, the Vietnam veterans at VA Hospital here in Jackson, those with dementia at St. Catherine's Village, and other facilities that will house those with dementia, little children, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, autism.
Beauty's universal. I mean, I know obviously what we find beautiful, not necessarily, but in terms of nature, like anybody, you put together something that smells good and looks pretty, it brings you joy, right? Anybody can appreciate a well done bouquet of fresh cut flowers. I think that's something that it's a language that we all sort of speak when we look at nature that way. Dr. DelPrince, if we want to jump in on this program, is it ongoing? Is it only certain times a year? How do you hop in?
Well, because of the structure of the program, particularly in that phase 2 where you meet with me, we continue to operate on sort of a system. So the next phase 1 session is open for registration, and it begins on May 6th.
Okay, coming up.
Students have 14 weeks to complete all those modules, which is plenty of time. It involves maybe, a couple of hours a week. You can fall behind. You can speed ahead. Some students like John speed ahead and get it done in a couple of weeks. Some people like to take their time with it. But at the end of that session, it closes because we want you to get ready then to go on to the next
which is a
phase.
Commitment to come down to the Gulf Coast and spend a terrible weekend on the beach and learning things. I mean, you ask too much of us, Dr. DelPrince.
Yeah. People do enjoy. Some people like to stay at the casino. Some people like to stay closer to the shopping. Some people stay with friends and relatives, and they have a good time.
They have a good time. And still thinking about if you've been wondering about becoming a master gardener, Jeff, that's also part of all of this. That was the gateway drug for John. But maybe it's back way. Maybe you're into floral and then you get into master gardening. Is that an ongoing program? Can we hop into that anytime?
So it's similar to what Dr. DelPrince described. We do a fall online training each year, so it is completely online. It's 40 hours of instruction, and the registration will open in early to mid-August. It's open for about 30 days, and then the online course itself will run the months of October and November. And so they have 9 weeks to do the 40 hours of course. We've had people finish it in the first week, and I've had people finish it at the midnight hour on the last night. So that is how that program works.
And we are in the spring season where everybody is trying to grow their vegetables and their plants and all the things. If they've got dire questions, do y'all have like a 1-800-HELP-ME button, or is there still resources through the Extension and the Master Gardeners program during this time, or reach out to a Master Gardener?
Yeah, absolutely. And the easiest thing to do is just call your county MSU Extension office and start with the agent there. And in some counties there are Master Gardeners that assist the agent. So either a Master Gardener or an agent Agent 1 will be able to answer those questions. And if they can answer the question, they'll reach out to one of the specialists for us to try and help, get the correct answer. And I do want to mention one of the other things that is happening this time of year. Our Master Gardener groups are having a lot of plant sales around the state. I know in Brandon, there's one this weekend, Tupelo, Iuka. There's quite a few that are going on for the next 3 or 4 Saturdays. So you could call your local MSU Extension office and see when they're having their Master Gardener plant sale. And that's a great way to get plants at a very reasonable price.
All righty. Well, I appreciate all your time. Thank you for your time, Dr. DelPrince. John, as always, thank you for bringing us the great conversations around what's going on with Master Gardeners in our state. So we appreciate you all. But stick with us. We've got good events that's happening on your main streets